And then my wife is also a respiratory therapist too. We got 3 kids, 16, 10, and 9. Anything else to add? I want to make sure that's do it all.
You got it.
I got it. She said I got it, y'all. So we starting off all right. Can't hear anybody anymore.
All right.
All right. Victoria, were you going to speak? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're fine. Hello, everyone. My name is Audrey Renee. I am the founder of Dear Single Mommy. And pretty much I redefine what a single mother means, getting them back to being a woman and not focusing on the title. My story has really gotten me where I'm at with Dear Single Mommy. And I also own an apparel line alongside with my daughter, who is 7 years old, called Curse Broken. And so I'm a motivational speaker, a mindset coach to help my women who are moms, help them in development and personal skills and dating and relationships, and just starting the conversation a lot differently so they can connect outside of their normal group. And that's it.
Hi, everyone. I am Latresa Rice, your mindset coach. I help bereaved Christians regain hope by rediscovering their identity and healing through writing. I help people develop their stories and publish their books. I'm a motivational speaker, a full licensed master social worker, and also an author. I hope you are having a great night, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Hello, everyone. I'm Leon Walker, retired Navy, served 32 years from Cleveland, Ohio, live in Chicago now, north of Chicago. I'm an author of 3 books, actually 2 that's been published, 2 more coming soon. Work with the youth as far as developing the youth. I talk about relationships. Motivational speaker, talk about narcissism. And that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
We don't have a specific order. Okay. Hey, well, I'm Dwyane Williams Jr. I am from the greatest city in America. That's the Baltimore, Maryland. And don't argue me down about it. That's what it says on our benches. So you got to take it up with the city officials and city government. I do a wide range of things, but I stay more so in the personal development. I've had the pleasure of traveling to a lot of schools and doing motivational speaking. I've worked with young people over the last 10 plus years. And so I'm excited to be a part of this wonderful conversation.
All right. Hey, Maisha. Thank you, Dwyane. Okay. Was that everybody? Or Avery, did you get a chance to go?
I did not. I was talking, but I was on mute. It's all good. Good evening, everyone. I am Avery Lady A. Atkinson. I'm the owner of Lady A Global, a creative consulting company. I am also a holistic wellness professional. I own the Queen's Quarter Spa in North Carolina. I'm currently in Birmingham, where we are opening our 2nd location, so I'm super excited about that. I'm also the wellness pastor at the Hill Community Church. I'm very excited about being here tonight. I'm looking forward to this amazing conversation, and thank you so much, Shantanique, for inviting me to be a part of tonight's conversation.
Yes, you are welcome. So, Maisha, you can go ahead and introduce yourself. I know there are some people not showing their face, but go ahead, Maisha. You can go ahead and come off mute and introduce yourself. This is a safe place, so you already know that.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maisha. I go by Mai. I am a purpose pusher and an encouragement enthusiast. And I actually was on Instagram and saw tonight's live, so I wanted to come on. I'm in a bit of a transition, so I am trying to figure out what direction I'm going in as far as my coaching, and I'm just enrolled in a master's program for social work, so my plate is full. So I am happy to be here, and I'm interested in the conversation tonight. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm gonna go right into our first or opening question. And I want you, anyone can answer this question. The question is, what does unity mean to you? What does unity mean to you?
To me, I'll go ahead. Unity means understanding who you are, being aware of where you want to go, who you want to be, being approachable, knowing how to open your heart, being able to say, I'm sorry, I apologize, I understand, being a great listener, to bring people in, to want people to want to approach you. Unity means to me being approachable, making everybody feel wanted on a team. Everybody wants to feel important. I know I do. But make everybody feel like they are important or are a part of a team, not putting anybody down, not separating anybody because of your status of your title. Unity means to me coming together and staying together. Unity means knowing how to love unconditionally. That's what unity means to me.
I guess I'll jump in and be extra churchy to begin with. So unity to me is a reflection of oneness, right? Like the first time we see that is when in Genesis 1:1, right? Let us make man. After he identifies the entity that we know as God, identifies that this place is devoid and it's chaotic and there's no order. He immediately sets order, and he does that through oneness, right? So this concept of unity, let us together. And then further on, we see Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And then within us, we have the ability to replicate as our Father does. So I do believe that unity is a part of our biblical character. We should first have oneness within ourselves, for sure. And then that oneness should be able to be extended to other people that we come into contact with. I think once we have a better hold of oneness within ourselves, unity across color barriers, across ethnicities, across social and economic barriers will become much, much easier because we'll have that confidence within ourselves.
That's good. So I'll chime in next. Unity is an interesting word. And the most important thing to me, I believe, for unity is agreement. Being on one accord. So I'm not sure if this is specific to just in general or in dating relationships, but I feel like if you're not on one accord or in agreement with the people that you are trying to be one with, then it doesn't work. So first understanding what the purpose is or what it is that you desire from a particular relationship, and then being on one accord. And I feel like once that happens, then you can kind of move in an element of unity with agreement.
Man, you guys are dropping gems already. Y'all didn't need me tonight. Y'all got all these wonderful people up here.
Before you go, Dwyane, real quick,
yeah.
if you have something you want to add, make sure you put it in the group chat. If you don't want to speak, I know some people may be afraid, maybe you should go shy, but go ahead and tap in with us in the chat as well. Go ahead, Dwyane.
Yeah, I kind of want all of us on the panel to help you out and just share to our social media sites. If you go to our YouTube page, you can hit the link that says share and just share it to the social media sites and get some viewers in here to check out all of y'all wonderful, dope folks that got something to say. I want to just add this as far as unity goes. Everyone said it the best. I think it's just as simple as this. It's an avenue of agreement that brings about a change. It's an avenue of agreement that brings about a change. I just believe that many of us, we want to agree, but sometimes it becomes difficult for us to agree because we're human, and in human form, different things happen, but it is an avenue to agree to bring about different avenues of change. That was how I'll be defining it.
For me, unity means being authentically you and submitting the gifts and talents that you have to a common purpose with someone else. I see that a lot in successful marriages. And so there's one common purpose, but the people that are in partnership are comfortable in their own lane.
Oh no, Maisha, you're fine. You're fine. No. You're fine. Don't worry. So when we have our conferences, this year was the first time we went virtual. So this is an open forum. Of course, do respect, of course, our speakers while they're speaking. And if you do have something to share, you can definitely do it at the end. We're going to dive in a little deeper into this discussion. That was our opening question. But I do want to, of course, give everyone the chance to speak. Again, those speakers, but you're fine, Maisha. Don't worry about that. Were you finished, Latrice?
Yes.
Did everybody go that wanted to go to answer this question? Because you all were on point. Like, Desi, Victoria, did you want to add anything, or you're good?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, again, you guys were all really, really good. I mean, some really, really good solid points. I mean, to me, just the unity is just really being aligned as one, as in spirit and all that good stuff too, kind of like what you guys all talked about. Again, I heard somebody say that we do have our differences, right? But I think, in regards to unity, is understanding and respecting those differences as well, and being able to still potentially work towards a common goal. And that can be looking at it from a relationship standpoint, that can be looking at it from a professional standpoint, a job standpoint. Again, when you have a partner, or when you working towards a goal, whether it's at work or whatever it may be, you have to have that unity. You have to have that understanding. You have to have that understanding and that trust to potentially be able to work together. So again, that unity is really having that common vision in direction, that common vision in spirit, and working towards those same goals, with that understanding that even though there is unity, there can be some differences in regards to that. But as long as you guys are aligning and coming together, whether that's work or whether that's your relationship, if you guys want to make it work, or you guys want to hit that goal, or whatever it may be, it needs to be a common denominator, which is unity.
That pretty much summed up everything that you all said. And this opened up the part where we're going to go deeper into this, because when you talk about collaboration, and I want you guys to keep it real, because most of us are influencers. People follow us. They trust us. We dealt with some people, I was down through the years from myself, that weren't on the same page as I was. They were faking in the beginning, then they showed their true colors down the road. So we're gonna go deep into this, because when we're going to 2022, we gotta be intentional all the way around. Personally, professionally, spiritually, mentally, we need to be intentional in every relationship if we are looking to evolve, and making sure we are aligned with what God wants us to do, and that the people that we're connected to are also in alignment with what we're doing. Because integrity is very important. Again, when people trust you in your services, whatever you do, you got to make sure that you have the people that are around you that are on the same page as well. I don't want to go into details, but we know about the issues with Derek Jackson. And so there were people who were, again, linked with him, doing tours with him. So they're no longer doing those things, because again, you got to be, again, in alignment with those who are on the same page, again, personally and professionally. Hold on one second, I'll open it up the room for a second. Good evening, Tracy. All right. What YouTube channel is the conversation streaming from? We are streaming from Nique Speaks. That's Nique and then the separate word speaks, SPEAKS. So that is my brand. Again, those who are just coming in, my name is Shantanique Langston. I am your personal professional relationship coach, and I'm also the creator of the Relationship Conference. And tonight we're talking about uniting the sexes. So here's the first one. We gave a general definition, our personal definition of what unity means to us. And so now my next question is, can men and women truly be friends? I want a man to open us up with his thoughts.
Yeah. Do you mean friends while I'm in a relationship, or just friends platonically?
Friends platonically, because that's a huge debate, right?
Yeah. So
go ahead.
You can't, because I disagree with what Steve Harvey said. He said he doesn't have any female friends. I think that's what he said. I don't believe that I don't believe that you can have female friends. I think that you should have female friends. I am very confident in who I am. I'm very secure, and I would want my girlfriend or wife to be very secure around my female friends. And in order for me to help her with that, because it's not going to be automatic, because she may have her guard up due to her past issues with her exes or whatever, I will introduce my girlfriend or wife to my female friends. My female friends will know my wife. There will be boundaries. It's not like they can just call me anytime a day or night for help or whatever the case may be. But I struggled with that in the past, because I was always trying to please my female friends more than my girlfriend and wife. I had issues. So I was very immature. Okay. And so I never put my girlfriend or wife above anybody else, including family, and that was a big mistake that I made. I lost a lot of good women because of that. But you should be able to have female friends, and she should be able to have male friends. If we have that trust in each other, and we're not going to hurt, abuse, or cheat on one another, the trust is a major thing when it comes to having female friends of the opposite sex. They need to know how my girlfriend or wife is, and my wife needs to know how they are. Everybody's going to be, all my female friends will be platonic, because I need maybe to bounce something off of them about maybe, not understanding my girlfriend. Not something that she done wrong, but I want to know, maybe I want to, treat her better, or get her a better gift, or do anything better. And so I would get a woman's perspective. I can get a man's perspective too, but I think it would help me out getting a woman's perspective. So being platonic, we can be platonic. We can have, I know I can have female friends without engaging in sex or anything, or being attracted to her or anything like that. Matter of fact, I do have female friends like that. So yeah, I think we can be friends.
I have a question. I have a question.
Go ahead, ladies. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I actually want to hear what you have to say. Go.
Well, I'm a stirrer of the pot, so let me go ahead and take my glasses off. I think I was professional long enough. Let's get the pot stirred. Here is the problem with, and I don't disagree with him. I actually absolutely agree. The problem is, for us as people, let's really be honest, our inconsistencies have created habits that causes us not to see where people can be consistent. And so if you've been in a relationship with a man and he said women were his friends, and you come to find out 25 months later that wasn't the truth, you would have a hard time accepting if a person was genuinely, and vice versa. If you was a man and a woman said, no, that's genuinely my friend, and then you looked up 3 months later, you heard that, somebody knocking rock in the boots, you would have an issue with it. I think, and I don't ever want anyone to say this, nor will I ever say this, people having friends or people kind of demonizing friends doesn't mean that a person is insecure. I think that it just means that a person has gone through some stuff that they have seen, and they are uncomfortable with it from what they have experienced, right? And so I think part of our issue with women and men being friends is because we have not seen it in such a platonic way. Do I think it's possible? Absolutely. But I think that it's going to be possible with people who can be honest. If you know that there is some level of attraction that you eventually could have for this person, it is not platonic anymore. Now, I want to be grown in this moment. If you know that you might be attracted to them, but you would never step across a boundary, I might give you that a little bit. I can't tell you what nobody else would give you. I might give you that. But I think part of our problem is we as an honest, we will say somebody is a friend, but have the intentions of going further in certain spaces, because the reality of it is we don't really view them as a friend. The people that we view as a friend, you know it, because they literally in that category. Now, however, some people may, excuse me, y'all, some people may literally see you as a friend in one moment and then wake up 2 days later and be like, oh my God, I really didn't know that I was going to like this person. There's some decisions you have to make there. However, to answer the question, I do believe that it's possible. I just think that we as people haven't seen it. And so it sounds, it looks, and we project that it's impossible when really it's possible if two people could really just come to the table and be honest about what it really is.
I agree with that. It's all about boundaries, boundary setting in the beginning and communicating what this is in the beginning. So that's what I heard when I heard.
Well, when you say communicating this in the beginning, and y'all, I don't want to hijack the conversation. That's why I'm being quiet.
No, go ahead. No,
I talk on a lot of platforms. I want to hear from y'all. When you talk about, you said communicating, or I guess being intentional. I'm even careful with that word, because if I can be honest, as a man, I've heard, "What's your intentions from me?" And I'm like, "Is they number one? I don't know what they are. Maybe we can make a hamburger, and I don't know. Maybe we can, and I know some people would be like, well, men know, and then we hear men project it, and then we hear women project it. And here's my thing: you know that you want this job, but you don't know what you're going to produce from this job until you get into the job. And I think sometimes what we do in relationships is say, well, a man knows. Well, he may know, but I'm not going to open my mouth and prematurely speak until I see what I may be getting into. And I think sometimes even with intentions, we just have to be careful, because sometimes people take that left field. But I do understand what you're saying with intentions. What you're saying is, hey, if you know that you might potentially be attracted to me, then we can label ourselves as platonic friends now. But if there ever was a case that I like somebody else, you do know that I would have to push you away, and I think that's what you're speaking of when you talk about intentions and kind of communicating up front. You can tell me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. You're spot on. Go ahead, Audrey. And you had a question.
No, that was Avery who had a question. I wanted to jump in really quickly and get back to the foundation of what people should understand. What is a friend? Relational Intelligence is a book that I read by Dr. Darius Daniels, and he establishes different things that I believe that people don't understand when it comes to friendship. And so once you're understanding what a friendship is, and you've grown out of the high school version of a friendship or the elementary school version of a friendship, and you stepped into the adult version of what it is to be a friend and what it is to serve each other, I believe that then you can start with seeing if you're able to be a friend to someone based upon your relationship. When it comes to the opposite sex, I ask this question: are you crossing lines in conversation? Are you saying things to each other that are putting each other in a space where you could like them? Are you fantasizing? Are you putting my, for me, are you putting my child in my name and your world as if we're going to have a future together? All of those things matter. And so, yes, I do believe you can be friends, but I do believe it's going to take a maturity to do check-ins with yourself, which is self-development, that when you are feeling something about somebody, that you project it with possibly losing the friendship. And I think that's what people are mostly scared of. I think that they're scared to check in and say, man, I really do like this feeling. I really do like how we vibe. Could it be something there? And to check in with a man, because most of the time, men, I believe, this is from me, men tell you what you possibly, men will tell you exactly the answer to a lot of your questions. It's just a matter of listening. If you listen well, and something I'm learning, you all, self-development, if you listen with intention to understand, you will hear the answer to a lot of your questions. You will see by his actions if he is even going, even if he's traveling in that route. And most of the time they will tell you. And so I think for women, and I speak for women only, we express our emotions differently. We feel differently. We're trying to navigate through stuff, and we have a tendency to hold on to things, replay it in our minds, put things to it, attach things to it, create a universe in a world with me and him together in it. He knows nothing about it. And it just sets you up for failure to me. So I think the foundation of friendship is important, understanding it, knowing what it looks like, and also checking in with your opposite sex friend. Where are you? What helps you set the boundaries? Is it, if you're talking every single day, that's not helping setting the boundaries. If you're using words that could turn somebody on, that's not helping setting the boundaries. And so I think we have to understand what friendship is. And ladies, this is just me. I meet valuable men who teach me about men, in a sense where when I'm having relationships with them, I know how to navigate through conversations, so that if I'm in the wrong, or if I'm in the wrong mindset, I have men that I can go to that will allow me to know, or even single women who are mature to go to allow me to know that I'm overstepping my boundaries. So sometimes we've allowed things to occur as women, and then we assume that because that's what is being said and done, that that's what it is. And we never ask a straight and forward question. Do you like me? Do you see me with you in your future? What are your intentions? You can use the word intentions, but like, you can't please everybody, right? So I agree with Dwyane. Everybody's mindset is like different on definitions, but at the end of the day, you know what your intentions are. Are you here to get married? Or are you here just to be friends? You know what it is, but the other person may take it completely the wrong way. And that's not up to me if I've established it as clear as I can. So that's my thoughts on that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you said, hold on, Avery, you know you wanted to jump in, so I want to be kind to you. Go ahead. Yeah.
It's fine. Like you, Dwyane, I am constantly on platforms talking about relationships and singlehood, etc. So I'm always interested in hearing other people's perspective. I would just like to throw this out there before we take a left turn, or maybe this will take a left turn. I find it interesting that whenever we have this conversation of should men and women be friends, it's always is the man allowed to have friends? Have y'all noticed that? It's not equal. It's always the men are talking
please
about.
Don't talk my language tonight. Please don't talk my language tonight. Don't talk my language.
Hey, I'm just saying,
Let's do it.
It's interesting to me. I think we could have fun around, defining what friendship is. We could have fun around, relational discourse and so forth and so on. But I think if we're going to do that and have an honest question, then we have to look at how we're framing these questions, even subliminally. What am I saying when I say it out of my mouth? And so when we ask questions, is it possible for men and women to be friends? It's always the woman that has to be okay with her man having friends. And when we flip it and we ask these same questions, well, if you have a harem of friends, then I should be able to have a basketball team of friends. Like, it should, if we're playing equal, if we're playing, equal relationship value, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I just think it's very interesting that it's always on the sacrifice of the woman. And even when we're talking about, to take it a step further, because we're discussing friendship, but essentially what we're talking about is an equivalence of exchange, right? So when we're talking about, sacrificing and settling in relationships, same thing happens. Oh, should a woman say? It's always the woman who's expected to settle. Oh, you should work with the king or work with a prince until he becomes a king. And I heard one example, I believe TD Jakes used it. Oh, well, you got to build your house first. And some people want a house already built. Yes, I want my house already built. I don't want to be a construction worker and build the whole house, right? But it's always on the side of the woman to have to sacrifice. I have to settle with you having friends. I have to settle with the fact that you're not educated. I have to settle with all of these things just so that I can be in a relationship and essentially stroke your ego at the end of the day. So I'm not saying it's always that. I'm just saying it's interesting that I've been in a lot of these conversations and it always ends up on that side of the street. So I would just like to show my women some love. Y'all don't have to settle on everything. Y'all don't have to come down on everything. Y'all can keep something to yourself. I just want to throw that out.
Yes,
No,
with
come
the no
on.
settling.
Come off of me, please. Come off of me. Oh, this just took a turn. This just took a turn.
Your hat is turned forward, Doc.
Yeah, because I wanted to make sure that I could catch the shade that just came, because there was a lot of shade, and I'm trying to make sure that I can,
It's no shade. I promise you, it's no shade. It's all love. I'm just saying.
You do realize.
Y'all be honest. I'm not the only one who's been on these platforms. Y'all be honest. It is always we can have women friends, but it's rarely in the opposite direction. That's all I'm saying.
Now, when I spoke, I said for both parties, right? And I spoke to more of what the issue is for why. Because, and let me be honest, I agree with you. I do think that sometimes, well, let me tell you why I agree with you. I agree with you because I think we live in a double standard world, period, right? I think there are things that men, we hold double standards over onto women, and then women hold some things, double standards over onto men. And so one of the reasons why I love talking on these platforms, because, our dear host said it the best, what are the solutions? I think oftentimes we talk a lot about double standards, and people don't really come with solutions to how we can fix it. And I'll be honest, the first solution is just really recognizing that we do it. I love what Adrian said up there. I hope I'm saying your name right. Is right, Audria, right? What is it, Audria? Yeah, Audria, right? Audria said it the best. Like, man, she said, I'm doing self-development. This is why I'm so big on self-development. As a Christian man, I'm not perfect, right? As a Christian man, one of the things that scares me with the church is that we speak in tongues well, we run around, we cast out demons, we do all of that stuff well, but we have no personal development when it's done. And for me, that's scary, because you can't be well in the things of God and be horrible in the things of humanity. Let me say that one more time. We cannot be well in the things of God and be horrible in the things of humanity. And humanity is just simply being nice to your neighbor. And don't get me wrong, I think there's some times where our neighbors push our buttons. Amen, somebody, right? And we want to say some stuff to them. But however, I don't think we do that stuff well. Personal development, I love what Audrey said. She said, hey, I'm learning to listen. Because even on some of these platforms, I've been attacked, because when I start saying something that causes us to think, not necessarily about I believe it or I agree with it, but rather saying something that causes us to think. We don't like to think. We love. Come on, y'all. Let's have a conversation tonight. Y'all woke me up. I was chilling. I wanted to hear y'all. We love people giving us the ropes to life instead of finding out the ropes to life. We love people giving it to us. And so we get up and we repeat stuff. And so there's been a couple platforms that I've been on where I've said something, not because I necessarily believe it, but I want to see, are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you comprehending what I'm saying? And then can you think about what I'm saying? Say, I can see how that could be derived. And then taking it and saying, but blah, 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 blah. And I don't think we do well at that. So I agree with you. I think on many different things, there are double standards. I think sometimes even when we talk about, hey, don't throw a man away, I think sometimes it's heard wrong, because what we do is we tend to beat up on the woman who's saying, hey, I want to be up here, right? And I don't want to come down here. And I think sometimes it's being taken as we're beating up on you, but really we're trying to give you another avenue. But the persistency of the conversation feels like, hey, men are beating up on me because I say I don't want to come down. And so that's why I can cope with what you're saying. I would pray that we would understand that oftentimes when many people are talking on these platforms, they're just trying to be adamant about painting their point instead of being adamant about, here, let me say my point. I hope you hear my point. And then even if a person rebuttals saying, okay, I understand, and then moving on. And so I've learned that. I've learned to say, hey, look, this is my point. I understand what you're saying. This is my point. would you take that into consideration? After that, leave it alone. So I agree with you.
And this is why I think, regardless of whether you're speaking on a platform or whether you're speaking to your potential mate, having emotional intelligence is extremely important, and self-awareness. You have to know what it is that you are expecting out of this journey that you're on, because ultimately, no matter who you partner with, even in marriage, you are still singularly journeying through life on your own. That person has a path that is adjacent to yours, but it is not the same path. You are on your own path and they are on their own path. One of the best articulations I could say about relationships is that it's two histories coming together. And so once you decide how you guys want to create history together, now the communication comes. Now you set a level of expectation. But again, that cannot be done successfully if you are not practicing an emotional intelligence, and if you have not had that self-development, self-awareness, if you're not clear on where you are, what you need, what works for you, and not only be clear, but being able to clearly articulate it to the person that you're trying to have a conversation with, even if it's on a platform discussing relationships. So I definitely agree with that.
I'd like to share something that's okay. I think, I'm a queer man, so I find myself a lot of times at the conjunction point of empathy and what you would consider more feminine traits, more masculine traits, just what society allows us to actually do versus what straight men are. A lot of times the straight men are even they're not allowed to be empathetic and speak about emotions. So when you do have a friendship with a woman, and this is a safe space, and you're finally able to talk about all these things, I can see that as being a very, very confusing place to be as a man. And perhaps that's part of the reason why when dealing with men and women, there's a difference on that front. And there seems to be more difficulty with men always finding the fine line between that, because we oftentimes, when I say we, I mean the collective we as men, we're not in touch with those emotions. This is a brand new emotional space for us. That's all.
I like what you said. This is the main reason why I wanted to hear more men. We women, we always got something to say, but I want to hear the voices of our men, because their voices matter. What they have going on matter, and we want to hear you. There are a group of women who don't want to hear you, but we want to hear you because we want to know what's going on and how we can be a help to you. That's what we're here for. We're here to unite. We're here to understand. And the one thing I really want us to remember, that we are to evolve. That's what we're designed to do. So history repeats itself because we're not evolving. It's our job to evolve around the history. So even when it comes to relationships and the things we've gone through and these cycles we keep going through over and over again, it's our job to say, wait, something got to stop. So even when it comes to us forming relationships with each other as friends, and if you're going to move into a different direction, even in the friendship, you have to learn to evolve. And remember that everyone's not going to be in your life forever. So that's another thing too. But we're gonna put a pause on that. I want Desi and Victoria to speak on this because they're married. And I want to hear what they have to say about being, they're married, and I wonder, do they have friends outside, of their union? I don't really know. I know them because I'm a part of their fitness program. I've been a part of their lives for the past, 2 or 3 years, and they are amazing people. And so I've been able to work with them on a health level. And so I don't want to whoop you because I haven't been in a program in a while, but seeing them personally, I've always seen them together. I rarely see them with anyone else, or so I want Desi and Victoria to speak on this and your take about being married, and how have you guys transitioned, because you guys have been friends for a long time. So go ahead and speak on that.
Yeah, you know what? And it was some really, really good points. And one thing I learned over the years is to start to be a bit more of a listener than always that one to speak. That's a very important thing in my 41 years I've learned. Just speaking just based on, my life or my experience. Can you be friends with someone of the opposite sex? Right. Absolutely. But it comes back a few things that you guys said, right? It starts with honesty. It starts with communication. It starts with respect. And it absolutely has to be some boundaries. And during the course of, our marriage, our relationship, whatever it may be, again, all of those things had to basically take place for it to happen. When there were situations where there's were maybe lapses of communication or people who potentially saw the opportunity with the lack of boundaries, that's where the problem started. So going back to that is what you saying, Nick. Just think about it this way: we friends, right? We're friends. We've known each other 3 years. We've had a client-friend relationship. Obviously, now we partner on different things and different things like that. But what really, for the most part, that ends up once you get kind of deep in your relationship, as you tend to kind of grow together, for the most part, our friends are all the same. So if for 9.999, I'm going to go ahead and say 10 out of 10. If I'm friends with someone of the opposite sex or have a relationship with someone of the opposite sex, in order for it to be right, that boundary is they're going to have to know my wife. They're going to have to know my wife. They're going to have to respect my wife. And at the end of the day, that's just the way that it has to be. Or what we found based upon experience, there will be potential opportunities to open the doors to stepping over boundaries, being disrespectful, being potentially dishonest, having communication that you should not be potentially having. You feel what I'm saying? So, I mean, when it comes down to it, can you be? Yeah, hell yeah, you can. We have friends that are of the opposite sex, but at the end of the day, where we are right now, based upon our marriage, based upon our relationship, it better, or it has to be a relationship between that friend and me too, or my friend and that, right? In order for it to work, or it's just not going to work, because it doesn't work after a certain period of time. So I just believe that once you get to the point to where you committed, where you align with each other, and you on the same playing field, it ain't gonna work if the friend isn't with the husband or that person, the fiance, or that person that you have that deep relationship. It has to be something there, or you're gonna end up with some problems.
And what I'll add is this is simple. If your friend is invested in your relationship, cut it. That's it. There's no reason why a friend should be concerned about what you're doing with someone else. Period. If you're in a relationship, or if you're the one in a relationship and you had that friend, like you had that best friend forever, he's always been around or whatever. But once you're in a relationship, that role is not theirs no more, because you got into a relationship with somebody else. They fall back. So if they are invested in your problems, and they're invested in all this stuff in your relationship, that person is waiting in the wing.
You might have a problem.
You're going to have a problem. That's not a friend no more. Fall back. Red flag. That Twitter thing, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. That's what that is. They're no longer a friend no more. Fall back. That's where I'll put that. My husband pretty much covered everything, but here's that.
Can't hear.
No, go ahead, Dwyane. I saw you come off mute.
No, I was just about to be funny because I definitely underestimated them. She said, fall back, back up. Get up off my peoples. I like it.
Listen, let me just reset really quick. People just came in. What's up, everybody? Those that know who I am, those who don't know, I am Shantanique Langston, your personal and professional relationship coach. And tonight we're having a conversation about uniting us, and having this open discussion about friendships, brotherhood, sisterhood. We have about I'm gonna say about 20 minutes. Y'all good at I know that Desi and Victoria have to leave at 9:45, but if anyone else will stay until 10, because I want to dive into some of this stuff because we about to go in, and I want to talk about brother and sisterhood and the lack of support thereof. We talk about brotherhood and sisterhood, but where are you, bro? Where are you, sis? And I wanna dive into that. So Desi, y'all good or what?
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna hold tight. I put my appointments off into that time period that we talked about. So we smooth.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna jump into the next question. Again, we're talking about brotherhood and sisterhood. So many people lack support. So what can we do to strengthen this area for people to find a place to belong? Like earlier, Leon was saying, we all want to belong. We all want to be accepted. So what are some ways that we can strengthen this area for people?
Say that one more time. I want to make sure I
So
understand.
what can we do to strengthen this area for people to find a place to belong?
Strengthen what area though? Give it to me.
Lack of support. Where people lack support in their life. Whether it's making a decision to go back to school or starting a career,
I was
those
trying to make
things.
sure I understand it. I think the number one thing that we could do is I don't want to sound cliche-ish, but I think one of the things that we could do is immediately be a uplift to those people who are in our circle and around us on a day-to-day basis. I think we do a great job at creating memes and creating different things that help people be inspired. My favorite word is transparent, not translucent. I do not judge people who are translucent, so please, no, I don't judge you. Shout out to you. But I think we could be just a tad bit more transparent. And then being transparent, hopefully that helps people to understand that if you did something and overcame something, that they kind of have that same right and ability to overcome and to be what they need to be. So be transparent with people. Be open with people. If that's your comfortability level, if it's not your comfortability level, then if you're translucent, keep giving parables. Keep teaching them through the parables so that they can get it. And I don't know what else we can do, because I feel like this is not an area that most people struggle with supporting people. I think, yeah, I'll leave it there. There we go.
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback off of him. I think so. This is a very, when people talk about support, I think number one, people don't open up their mouths to say exactly what they want when it comes to supporting you. What is it that you want and how do you want to support you? If you're going to school and I don't know that you're going to school and you reach out to me and tell me, then I can support you with my experience with that or get you to someone else. But I think it's a lack of people opening up their mouths and having an expectation that people are just supposed to migrate to them. When I created my platform, Dear Single Mommy, nobody liked it. Nobody knew what it was. I had to keep showing up consistently. And so when you look at my page now, you see all the things that women are, commenting me on, but that wasn't always. And so when I get people who are like, and this is just an example, people are like, you didn't like my Facebook post. It's like, I didn't see it. Like, it's not that I didn't want to support you. I didn't see it. Instagram is doing some crazy things. I don't barely see other people's posts. So that little simple thing right there is like, it's not, I don't believe it's a lack of support or resources. I believe it's a lack of people opening up their mouths to say what they need. I also think you have to find out where you belong. I belong in the sector of single moms, so that's where I go. When I need support and help on my own, or I know another mom who needs support and help, I stay in that sector to become available to them and allow them to know I help single moms, or I'm a single mom that needs help. and I let that be known through every post and every status. I reach out to people because I am humble enough to say, you know, do that and get their support. I collaborate with people who can open up their mouths and share things and drop gems. And so I think it's not, that's my thoughts. I just think it's not so much of a lack of support or resources. I think it's a lack of people opening up their mouths to make the right connections that make sense towards what you're doing. I'm not going to go reach out to a person who is married with kids that might not know how a single mother feels who's not married with kids. You understand? But yet I can still reach out to her to get some gems for what we want in the future. But what I'm saying is I would reach out to a mom who I know can talk about something that is in my lane, if that makes sense. So hopefully I tied that all together and that made sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. If I can piggyback on that, I mean, obviously, when it comes to, you know, whatever it is you want to do, it's important to kind of have an idea of your niche, to do your research, to figure out your background, and to kind of learn what you need to learn to develop whatever skill set that you're looking to kind of develop. So again, it goes back into, like you talked about, networking. Whether that networking is on social media, whether that networking is being part of different business associations or community groups or whatever it may be. You know, the biggest thing that you have to do, because I'm fortunate and blessed enough to have a successful wellness business. I'm fortunate and blessed enough to have a very successful financial business as well. But the way that I was able to get myself in that situation was not necessarily looking for handouts, putting myself in a situation where I was around the people that was successful in what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be. And then in that position, that's where I networked. I built on my skill set. And I basically looked out for people that looked out for me and continued to build on that. And I think that's was very important. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody ain't looking out for you. Everybody ain't looking out for your business. But if you hungry enough and know what you want to do and where you want to be, it's important to know that the bare minimum thing is to put yourself in a position to where you can network with like people that may have that experience or may be in that position prior to, that's going to mentor and help build you up. And then that's you go from there. But everybody ain't trying to build your empire. It's important for you to build your own empire and connect with those people who want to build you up. Simple as that.
And what's your handle? Because I'm trying to find you on Instagram right now.
For me?
You.
It's at Dear Single Mommy.
Oh, Dear Single Mommy. That's
Dear
right.
Single Mommy, yep.
Because I've been looking. I was like, okay, girl. All right, that was it for me. Just
Y'all answered that question well, both of y'all, just by the way.
Appreciate you, King.
Oh man, appreciate you, good brother. I didn't know you was 40 something. You surprised me. I thought you was 22.
No, man, I'll be 42 years old, dude. January.
You just shot the heck out of me. Man,
yeah.
I'm 41. I said 41, brother. I was only guessing like 25.
No, man, I'll be 42, man. I got one kid about to be 17 years old in January. We got a 10-year-old, we got a 9-year-old. I'm gonna tell you what it is, though.
Well, who birthday in January? Who birthday?
My oldest daughter, January 1st.
Tell her
17.
Tell her congratulations, January the 6th.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you what, man, is that the fitness is the fountain of youth, man. I keep telling people that fitness is the fountain of youth.
Brother, you look 25, good brother. 25.
My guy, I appreciate you, King.
All right.
To that. Hey, one of the things that comes to mind is a lot of times we want to strengthen an area without first healing in that area. And so before you can even strengthen the lack of support, you have to heal from the feelings of rejection that you felt from not being supported. A lot of times people don't take that time to heal. So it's important that if you felt that rejection from people you felt that did not support you, and most of the time we didn't properly define what support looks like us. We didn't define what it meant for us to be a sister or a brother. What are the role? What if you're calling somebody your sister, what does that actually mean? Is it simply that they're a Christian? Well, then okay, if that's the only definition that you have, you cannot say that people did not support you. Are you saying my sisters are those who are rocking with me and rolling with my vision, and then you didn't experience that? Okay, now it's time for you to heal, forgive them, and move forward, because guess what? The harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. So maybe you need to go where there are more, where the harvest is, and attach to the laborers that are few, that are rocking with you with the same vision. So I just want to say we have to make sure we define what support looks like and take the time to heal from the feelings of rejection that we've experienced from what we assume was a lack of support, but most of the time it's a failure to properly define the terms.
Okay, Fire. That was, I mean, she dropped the bomb. That part right there. That's very important. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm LaRonda. I'm actually a friend of Desi and Vicky's, and so I just kind of seen this and clicked in for tonight to see what it was about.
Hey, girl.
So, just to piggyback off of what she was saying, that kind of ties into me with as we have been 20, 30, and now like Desi entering into my 40s, you see the growth that you've had as you mature. And I think a lot of that support comes with maturity. And so a lot of times when you see that, even for women, you get out of that phase of being in competition with each other, and you see that you actually need to rise and push that sister up. So with that maturity, you start to learn how to support each other and entering into your own lane and not feeling like you guys are all on top of each other driving in the same lane. So that competition falls away with maturity, and you can build each other up so that you have that sisterhood, and you feel like when she's falling short, you're there to give them that extra boost and keep that crown straight.
And if I may tag in, that healing word was just sitting on me until Latrice said it, because from the angle or the position that I was thinking of it from is there's so many people who are dealing with rejection or some sort of trauma, for the lack of a better way of saying it, that it's hard to support someone when a person is in their own mind of what, like, I got to go for myself, or I can't trust people, or I can't this. So I feel like a lot of times people are not in a position to support other people because they still have some things that they need to work through and heal from in order to give of themselves in that way, to be a support. Because a lot of times many people are just looking for, what can I get? What can I get? What can I receive? And they're not even open. They can't even see that there's people who need what they have. So I think healing is an extremely huge piece to that.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Is it on me?
Go ahead, Leon.
Speaking of healing, she's right. And that takes me to say a couple of things. I like to thank Desmond's wife for what she just did. She asked Audrey about her page, and she's going to follow. I'm going to do the same thing. Talking about healing, and this is going to be this going all over the place, but I really think that support, okay? And this is not about black and white, but I'm speaking about blacks. We have a heart. I don't know if it's because we have a PTSD trait from slavery that's been passed down, because I have severe PTSD from the Navy. So I understand how it affected me. But we have so much anger, and we make it hard to support each other when we don't love unconditionally. I didn't know how to love as a child because my father showed me love, but he never told me. He bought me things. He bought my sister things. So I did the same thing for my kids until I started seeing the effects of not telling them that I love them. You can buy them anything. You can take them on trips. The refrigerator is full, but it doesn't mean anything. If they don't hear it, they don't feel it. We have to learn how to support each other, even if a person has 5 followers. I don't care if you have 3 followers. That person may have something very important to say. When you start getting to 50,000 to 60,000 people, people deem you important. I have 100,000 followers on TikTok, and I have people actually think that I was some sort of celebrity. Not at all, not even close. So we've been conditioned through social media to look at numbers, and makes us think that these people, not everybody, makes people think that these people are important. I can do a video tomorrow morning to put down Black women, to put down white women, and it'll go viral. I can put a video up, talk about, hey, I'm doing a free class on the SAT. Anybody they want to do anything with the video. I've seen it happen. So the support has to be unconditional. The support has to be something. I mean, you just support people for whatever they have out there, whatever they're doing. You build people up. That's how everybody gets started. But social media has taken it all around different corners because it's a financial gain, and a lot of people hide behind social media. And I said this the other day to somebody, and they got pissed at me. But I said, President Trump was by far the only president, and I don't get into politics, that forced Black people to stick together, to come together because of fear, whether it was directly or indirectly. You have people talking about, I'm gonna walk my sons to school because I don't want to get a shot. I'm gonna walk my sons to school, my daughter's to school because I don't want the KKK to shoot them or the skinheads, whatever. People were shook. My family members were shook. Every time he saw an American flag, it was like, oh, that's a Trump support, that's a Trump support. No, that's an American flag. But we were forced to hold each other, to love each other more when we had a certain president in the office because of fear. Maybe he did it directly, indirectly, I don't know. But you look at it back then, Black Lives Matter was booming. You look on Facebook, they had 100,000, 200,000 people in there. Now, what happened to Black Lives Matter? And I'm not saying it's not a black and white thing. It's just what I see when certain people are in charge, how we go, which way we go, which direction we go, how we act, how we react, how we take care of each other, right? But then you see when this leadership is gone, when the pressure is off, we go back to our old ways of hurting each other, of talking about each other, putting each other down. I live in Chicago, and every week, and y'all hear about it, but these young men are actually hunting each other to shoot and kill. We call Black women thoughts. We talk about sliding, spinning the block, shooting each other up. And that's what we do. If people want to exploit Black people like they do, they want to make money, you just make bigger tires, bigger rims, bigger jewelry. You fill your mouth with platinum and diamonds. And it's sad, but that's what's happening. It cannot be denied. But we have to support each other based on what we want to see each other grow. We want to see each other move forward. We want to build each other up. But it's the get over the hurt, get over the pain, and stop talking about the past, how we were beat down and all this stuff, and find a way to make things better, because we can do it, but we don't. That's just my little spiel.
No, that was good. Who else had something to add before I move on to the next question? I'm gonna try to do two more. Did somebody else have something they wanted to add to that, or no?
I did want to say one thing based off of what Leon said. There is what I would consider a curse that constantly needs to be broken. And I don't say that just, I say that because it's what we always talk about, the generational curses. When people are talking, they're talking about generational curses being broken. And I really believe, as far as, our culture, Leon said a lot of great things that are deeply rooted there that need to be exposed and said out loud and have the hard conversation, because it's a curse. And in all honesty, because it's been going on for so long, it's almost as if it's never ending, if I can say. And it's not to lose hope that it can't change, but I just feel like sometimes that curse that's upon that culture is like never ending. And it's like, how do we get past that curse mentality that we have when we are basically crabs in a barrel trying to get out of whatever situation we're in? And when you do get out, you're trying to help somebody else get out. And just like people like Nipsey Hussle or people of that nature, you get killed, because it's just a constant curse. And it's like, will it truly ever end? Or do we just kind of, do we navigate through it as much as possible, trying to save as many people as we can out of it? And so that's just something I want to throw out there as well.
I wanted to quickly just, because I know we're watching time. I think one of the, if we are believers, I understand this is an open forum and not everyone is, right? So if you are a believer, we do have the ability to speak things that are not as though they were. And we also have the ability to speak life and or death. I think it's really important for us to decide the power of the words that we wield. We don't, I would challenge, just a little challenge. We don't live under a curse. That's a lot of power given, right? So when we are believers and we come into the knowledge of Christ and we come into salvation, he then is the curse breaker. If there was a curse, he is then the curse breaker. And we live under that law. We live under the law of life. We live under the law of love. The law that says, seek ye first the kingdom in all things, including healing, including generational wealth, including understanding. That becomes, it's given freely to you. It's the same scripture that Ephesians 3:20. Now, and to him who's able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that you ask or think. The key word there is think. What are you thinking about yourself? What are you thinking about your generation? What are you thinking about the generations to come? So I think as believers, we have the responsibility to speak differently so that we can see differently. And we have to keep saying what we heard until we see what we said. And that takes discipline and it takes time, right? Like that's not something that happens overnight. I think so. That's one thing. I think it's really important to, as it were, watch our mouth, right? About what we say. I think the other thing to keep in mind as it pertains to generational growth, that's something that it takes time, right? It takes generations. And I think it's really, really important for us not to play into this concept that what we see on TV and also what we experience on our 16 blocks is the sum total and totality of how people are living. There are plenty of people who are in the mix, 10 toes down, doing the work, and they are seeing the fruit. There are people who have no idea of, hunting each other down because they live in the suburbs. That's not their reality, right? So I think it's really important that as we are thinking about how we can leave our legacy, when we're thinking about how we can affect change around us, it's important for us to find our lane. I believe it was the young woman from Dear Single Mommy. She was talking about finding your place. Absolutely. Find your place. What have you been birthed out of the mind of God to do here in the earth? Find yourself about doing that. Not only will you find support, not only will you find tribe, but you'll find fruit in that because that's what you've been purposed to do. So I think that also is a part of, the whole picture. I don't think that there's any one solution, any one thing that can fix everything because we're layered. Right? We're layered as people. And so we have to find our assignment as the body of Christ. If you're the pinky, be the pinky, be the best pinky you can be, right? Like find your place and live that out well. And I just really think we have to kind of decolonize our thinking about ourselves. And by decolonization, I mean, we have to change our language concerning ourselves. We have always been talked about from a place of deficit because we were brought here as less than. And so we as a people have to begin to speak from a place of wholeness. We have to begin to speak from a place of surplus. We have to begin to speak from a place of not surviving, but thriving. And as we continue to do that, the elements around us, our surroundings will begin to reflect that. The Bible talks about how the earth groans and waits for the manifestation of the sons and daughters. When we take our place and do our part, the earth will follow suit. And the last thing I wanted to say is as we're encouraging our young people, I do have a nonprofit and I sit on the board of another nonprofit, the Surge Project. Shout out to you guys. We work with students who have either been incarcerated themselves and or are children of incarcerated parents. And then with the Passport University, we work with first generation HBCU students. We give them their first passport and take them on their first trip overseas. I say that to say that when we find ourselves impacting the generation to come, they are simply going to emulate what we show up as. So if we show up in deficit, if we show up already, deeming them, off course and, what we're going to do, if we show, that's what they're going to emulate, right? So we have to be a part of the change that we want to see. I hope that made sense. I was trying to be very careful with my words, but also kind of tackle a couple of different things that were said. So yeah, that would be my 2 cents. I could definitely go on that matter, but hopefully that added to the discussion.
Yeah, it did. It really did. Go.
The
I'm
door
sorry.
church now open.
Thanks, Avery, for selling the brand Curse Broken. I just want to let you know that. I got to ask that question because I want us to know as believers that the curse is broken. He absorbed it on the cross, Galatians 3:13. And so we don't walk in that mentality state. And I wanted to throw that out there because that is the mindset that we operate in. Even though we're believers, we operate as if we are of this world when we are not. So thank you, Avery, for answering. I had to do a little Dwyane over here. I had to make somebody think. That's what he said he does. So I did what he would do to make somebody think. And Avery, thank you so much for that. That was powerful. And I'm gonna give you some free merch. Okay, so please DM me.
Come on, shameless plugs. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. All right, the networking is happening right now. So if you're somebody who's thinking about stepping outside the box, because there are people who ask me all the time, like, do your family support you? I'm like, they're not my target market. You have to you have to know what you're called to do. Going back to that drawing board, going brainstorming. And I don't want to go back into what everybody has said or reiterate what everybody has said. But I do want to ask one more question before we go. If y'all don't mind. Y'all don't mind? One more question I'm gonna ask. I wanted to open up for questions, but I don't want to keep anyone any longer than they need to. Y'all good?
We good.
All right. So this one's, I was like, which one am I gonna ask? All right, we're talking about family real quick. Y'all ready? What causes division amongst family?
Division amongst, I'm dealing with that now. I mean, no, I'll let somebody else answer because I don't want to hog it. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead, bro. Y'all good.
Division amongst family is when some family members are stuck. Okay. I got family members stuck in Cleveland. I left Cleveland at 17 when I joined the Navy. Every year I went back and was always some hateful stuff said to me because I decided to join the Navy and make my life better. I decided to go around the world, travel the world, take a few college classes, come home. They say, you think you're better than us now. You changed. I did change. And since I've changed, yeah, I'm better than you, but you can be better too. You can be good. At 56 years old, 2 years ago, my 62-year-old cousin cut me off. And to this day, I have no idea why. But we don't share, we don't share how we really feel. We don't talk. We don't come together. My family, we don't even eat at the table together. We don't even go to church together. We don't hold hands. None of those things. It's like the older we get, the more bitter my family becomes. And it's something I've never talked about, but I'm a happy dude. I'm a happy-go-lucky dude. I love people. I love helping people. I love helping kids. But it's like my family, and I know this for a fact, when we're talking about what Avery said about what Audrey said about the curses, and what Avery said about the curses, my mother's side, her family, they had some very, very evil, distasteful ways. And it is like straight down the line between my mother's side and my father's side. My mother's side, her mother, her father, her brother are all deceased. All of them. And so my father's side, most of them are still around, but I don't know what happened. I don't know why it was that way, but we were divided, and we were divided for many years. And the women put the men in our family up on the pedestal, and the women fought amongst each other. My mother, my sister fought, my mother, her mother fought, my cousin and her mother fought, my cousin and my other cousin, the female, they just all fought. And then here I am joining the military and wanting to be in a relationship, got married, didn't do well in marriage. But I don't blame anybody, but I wish I had more of the women in my family come together and teach me how to learn about women, how to, understand women, how to talk and communicate. I know now, but I learned from men that were broken and hurt and confused and dysfunctional like myself. So I was all over the place. But then I had to relearn everything that I learned from those men, so family's just, I don't know. That's a good question.
Man, Leon, you said a mouthful. I really think here's the bottom line that that is the issue for family, and it's the same issue for people. Oftentimes, what we want to be sometimes is not what is projecting out of us. And so sometimes when we see another individual giving what we think we should be giving or what we think we should be doing, and we haven't quite dealt with the stigmas, traumas, pain, hurt, or whatever word we want to use surrounding around those moments, we tend to project what we did not heal from. And so I don't think it's just families. I think it's just people in general, right? I think it just hurts differently because family does it. And according to biological teachings, not biblical, but biological teachings, because these people are blood, you would think that it would be just a little bit different because we come from the same bloodline. Well, I mean, since I'm in this room with a bunch of Bible scholars, one of the greatest people on the planet Earth that ever walked the planet Earth had to deal with this kind of behavior by a man named Joseph and his brothers. He didn't even tell them the dream. Notice they didn't get upset at the dream. They got upset at a coat. They got upset at the coat, not even the dream. The dream was icing onto the cake, like who this Ninja Turtle think he is to tell us we gonna bow down to him. You understand what I'm saying? So the reality of it is that they got jealous over a coat. You got to examine that a little further. What was they really getting jealous over? They were really getting jealous over the fact that they were not getting praised. They were not getting adoration. They were not getting the same favor that Joseph was getting. And that's why I think sometimes in society and maybe even in church, we do a disservice telling people that everybody is on the same playing field. No, everybody is not on the same playing field when it comes to what God is doing. There are some people who have paid an enormous price through tears, suffering, pain. And can I be honest? Some people just are qualified because God qualified them. That's it. That's all. There is something about their ability to say yes that God knew you wouldn't say yes. He offered you it several times and you kept telling them no. And so somebody would say yes. Somebody's boldness was different than you. And because of that, it highlights them in a different way. It does not make them better than you, but it highlights them in a different way. And so what I think Joseph's family was dealing with was a moment of recognizing that and not recognizing that I'm gifted, but I'm gifted to do something else. It's not a matter of if I can be gifted better than Joseph, if I can do what Joseph is doing better. It was just a matter of, hey, Joseph is gifted differently and my father wants to honor them. Because the truth be told, if we really take this thing back, slavery divided us because we were not getting honored. We were getting tortured, beat, dehumanized. And so when we had the ability to be able to get out on our own and be our own individual in a world that doesn't have slavery going on anymore, when we got on our own, we were already tainted from so many different years of being oppressed. And now I'm on my own. It's going to take a little bit of time to decompose it and decompose that mental state. And so even in our own families, we see this because praise wasn't a part of an attribute in our household until we came through slavery, segregation, and a tad bit of hard racism, because racism still exists, but it was a little harder right back then. When you look at that, there were certain minerals that we were not getting as a culture, as Black people, that now internally shows up in our families, in our friendships, in our relationships, in our churchhood. You know, I'm being funny when I say that, but it shows up because we haven't necessarily mentally decompressed. Thank you, Jesus. I'm trying to get that word out. Decompress from what has been set up over time. And hear me, I'm not making an excuse for it, because I think we all agree that healing is a must in any area of our life that we need it in. But it is also a reality that these family dysfunctions is all just because People want praise and honor, and somebody feel like you got more than me. And I just think that when we heal from those moments and be okay with who we are, whether we get praised or not, we can dismantle some of this dysfunction.
Well said, my man.
No, thank you, good brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. We got yeah. It's dysfunction all the way around. Like, when I know we said family, but man, it's dysfunction all the way around. And that's why I don't have a problem on this platform giving praise to anyone that is doing something great, saying something positive, because what we fail to realize is none of our people will be the same in what we do. Notice this, like, think about what I'm saying. You never find two people who do the same thing supporting each other. Sometimes. Why? Because they feel like it will take away from their spectrum. And it's 7 something odd billion people, 7.2 billion people in the world, not in the United States, in the world. You can't tell me you tapping into every last 7.2 billion people. So God gave us multiple people who will do multiple things, because different people will sit at the seat of those different people. And it does not mean we can't help one another just because we do the same thing, because you're going to have, 5,000 different people, then I'm going to have 5,000 different people. And I think that's the joys of really being, releasing jealousy and hatred and bitterness and unforgiveness, because it allows you to really work at the core with individuals and just dismantle dysfunction.
I definitely agree. I think the answer is in the question, right? Like, what causes division? What causes division? It's the lack of people seeing the same thing, whether it's themselves or one another, right? It's important that whatever you have your mind set to do, you do that regardless of who goes with you. And sometimes that requires you to build your own family. Family can definitely be what you make it. It doesn't have to be restricted by bloodline. And I think once we grab a hold of that, it'll be okay if that bloodline doesn't go with us, because those who are assigned to our lives, they are with us. And we see that in the Bible over and over and over again, from Cain and Abel to Lot and Abraham. I mean, we just see it over and over again where there's this family discourse, but there are people who are replaced, the people who are for your life and people who are assigned to you. Because at the end of the day, as Brother Dwyane said, people be peopling. I mean, he didn't say that, I'm paraphrasing, but people be peopling everywhere, whether it's your family, whether it's your coworkers, people just be peopling. And so when they do that, you can't be distracted just because they share the same blood as you. Instead, just realize that they are showing you exactly who they are, believe what they show you, and then act accordingly. And it doesn't require a fallout. It doesn't require a back and forth. The adjustment really is on you, because at that point, it's no longer on them. They've shown you, they've done their part. It's up to you then to regroup. It's up to you then to move forward. It's up to you then to carry out the assignment. I think it's also important to manage your expectations, because ultimately everybody's not your assignment. It's not always on you to get them on your page. They have to find their own way. And if it's not alongside of you, that is okay. We have to find that resolve within ourselves to release them to their own purpose as we're moving forward in ours.
Okay, I do want to make sure I jump in here as well and share my response to the question of what causes division in families. I would say one of the causes of division in families is jealousy due to confirmed vision. And another cause of division in families is unforgiveness. Even I want to go back to the example that was mentioned with regards to Joe. He not only had hope, drink things that indicated that what he saw or believed was going to occur was going to happen. So then you have people who now have become jealous, because now it's more than just you saying this is about what's about to happen. Even for those who are going to school, let's say you're the first one in your family to go to school, you've been talking about I'm going to college, and they're like, oh, okay, whatever, but now you took the test and you also submitted your application. Now you have more problems because there's a confirmation of the vision that you've already said, so which causes more jealousy, because a lot of times people already want to do what you're doing, but they may be afraid to step out into the deep and pursue it. So another thing that I've seen in a lot of families with regards to the other thing that I mentioned was unforgiveness, is because something may have happened within the family and the family members have a hard time getting the offense, and therefore it's passed down from generation to generation with regards to, we don't talk to this side of the family because this side of the family didn't help grandma when she went through that. It's that type of drama where we want God to forgive us for our failures or our faults, but we struggle to forgive our family members. So it causes division on multiple sides of the family, so much so that you may not even know that you're connected to this person years down the line. You might run into somebody and now you're talking about marriage. You find out later y'all was family, but because the family was so divided, you didn't know everybody. So we have to make sure that we heal in the area of dealing with the confirmation of the vision. So healing the area of jealousy and forgive one another so that we can move forward. Then we can stand more united as a family.
I love that. Just to jump in quickly, I think for me, it goes back to the original question, or I should say the first question, which was unity. And so when you have a whole family system that have their own beliefs, have their own ideas, have their own perspectives on how life should be or what people should be doing in their life, I feel like if there's not agreement, and that could be with parents and children, because the parents think that the children should go in one direction and think they should do something that they don't necessarily feel called to, or whether it's siblings. So if there's no unity in the family, if people are not accepting each other for who they are, and not trying to change the individual family member, and they're not walking in agreement, then that's where you have the strife, you have the arguments, you have the issues, where the division comes in, because it's hard when we're not healed we don't see through the proper lens to be able to accept people for who they are and be able to appreciate a person for where they are. And sometimes that means you do have to distance yourself. And sometimes I think that just makes it more difficult for people to come together if they're not on the same page.
Anybody else wanted to add to this before we close out? This was so good, y'all. Like, I'm speechless, and I didn't have to talk for the first time ever. I'm like, y'all said it all. I'm just sitting back like, yes, Lord. Mm-hmm. I'm trying not to make no stank faces, it was good. But this was so good on tonight. We're going to do a part 2. I don't know if Dwyane saw my message, but I sent him a message. We're going to do a part 2, bro. You might have to co-host, okay? So this was amazing.
You want me on my Steve Harvey? He sent me.
Yeah, on your Steve Harvey, sir. A few takeaways. I keep it simple. Like, I want to sum up everything that was said tonight. Before we can heal, we need to process. We need to process what's going on, what's been going on. Anytime there's a problem, you have to be willing to look at that problem and identify that thing before you can even heal. So that's the first thing. And then after that, healing begins. And take your time, be gentle with yourself, whatever you're going through, and then evolve. Understand to evolve around whatever it is you're facing, even in your relationships, and have a heart to, or have an ear to understand. Okay, a willingness to understand. Again, who you're having an issue with in your relationships, and never stop learning. Be in a position to always learn. Be in a position to always learn. And the master of communication is becoming a master at listening. So I heard a lot tonight, but I wanted to sum it up with that simple word of wisdom tonight. Again, process, heal, evolve, and never stop learning. And I hope this will help you all as we go into our new year. Look, in 3 weeks, 3 weeks, it'll be a new year. Can y'all believe it?
Right.
So much has happened. Don't forget to follow everybody. I know Dwyane put it in the chat. Everyone, all the speakers, make sure you put your handles in the chat. Those in the audience, put your handles in the chat. We're going to follow you as well. This was amazing. I do want to open up for one person if they want to share something who was in the audience who did not get a chance to speak. If you had a question before we close out. If not, I will release you all. Again, thank you so much, Dwyane. Thank you so much, Avery. Thank you so much, Latricia. Listen, I actually found a lot of the people that's on here on Clubhouse, y'all. And I have not been on Clubhouse in a long time, and I heard so many different things going on. So I'm led before, I bring anybody on, I reach out. If you say yes or you say no, I'm gonna keep moving on to somebody else because I believe in collaborating with individuals who are like-minded. And I will say that my spirit, I was led by the Holy Spirit to ask a lot of the speakers that are on tonight to be here tonight to pour into you all. And so I don't just have anybody on my platforms. I'm very, very strategic about who I want. And of course, we talk about being in alignment with the vision and purpose that I have. And so I just thank God that they were all said yes. They did not have to say yes to me. They did not know me. Okay. But I've been following them. And and I just thank God that we had a connection. And I'm just grateful again to have you guys. And I want to bring you guys back because we got to do this again. We got to do this again. Just enjoy the conversation. I'm so glad everybody did. Did anyone from the audience want to say anything or no? Because I don't think anyone came off the mic. Did any of the speakers have any final remarks?
Yeah, I don't really want to say anything about the conversation. I just want to say, guys, man, you guys are really dope. Each and every one of you. It's a pleasure in meeting all of y'all. It's a pleasure in getting a chance to talk to y'all brilliant minds. Yeah, please follow me on IG because if I go live and I see you pop on, I do random stuff like bring you on my live and we'll have a conversation, unscripted it, uncanned it, just go for it. Because I like talking to people and I like hearing what they got to say. And then that helps me, kind of work on my psychology and see how people are thinking, see what they're thinking, how did they derive this thought, what did they do to get to this thought, and then how we better stretch the thought. So, yeah, y'all dope. Y'all really are.
Thank you.
And Shantanique, if I could do a shameless plug, if any of the viewers or people, any of the fellow guest speakers.
You know, this is your second one, Miss Atkins. This your
is
second.
it?
This
is
your
it my
second
second
one.
plug?
I ain't even give one. This your second one. I'm gonna rebuke you, right?
This
is a good
bro,
one.
You need to be telling people what you do with your organization.
Yeah, I'll be chilling.
See? You talk about me, you supposed to be doing it. How we gonna know? How we gonna support? What baby girl said? Baby girl said we can't support because you ain't open your mouth. All I'm saying is if anybody if anybody wants to platform or speak about your business, your nonprofit, or anything that you are functioning in your excellence with, I would love to have you on my show to platform you to my audience so that they can come and support whatever it is that you all are doing. It is so important for us to platform one another so our different networks can see Black excellence. Even the people who are not of color, sometimes they also need to see that we are doing more than what society portrays throughout social media. So if any of you all are interested, definitely DM me. I would love to interview you all and have you on the show and promote your different businesses.
Thank you.
That's
No,
dope right
thank you.
there.
That was dope.
Yes, and I have to say thank you, Avery, for allowing me to be on your platform months ago. That's how I met Avery. I met you on Clubhouse, but we connected on your platform, and we hit it off ever since then. And I got a lot of buzz being on her platform, so y'all better tap in with Avery for real.
So no, Avery, thank you. That's why I said, check out IG out, because we may not be for your platform. So that's why I give people my IG so they can check it out, see if they like me or not. If they do, I'll come. If they don't, well, it's still all love. I still love you. No, I don't really, when I come to this, and I'm grateful, I really am. The Lord has really been kind to me. And he's been kind to me. That's all I can say. Man, if I tell y'all my story, man, you're gonna be like, how you still smiling? Because I'm stupid, I guess. But I have a couple of different things going on as we currently speak, which I cannot wait. I have a virtual mentorship mail program going on for young boys between the ages of 10 to 17. And we 1 week down, week 2 tomorrow, we meet on Saturdays around 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. So whatever time zone you in, just take it back an hour, 2 or 3, and that'll tell you what time we meet. And with that being said, I've served as a youth pastor for, I'm not a youth pastor anymore. I'm a full-fledged one now. Pray for me. But I've served as a youth pastor for like 10 plus years at several different churches in my city. Not only that, professionally, I've been a police officer. I currently now work for the mayor in my city in the Office of Employment Development. So I help young adults ascertain employment. And so I've been around youth development community for a very long time. So my roots are in serving church, serving community, and serving young people. That's where the bulk of it is. So that virtual mentorship program is going on. And then most importantly is my baby, because, as a man, we can't ever carry one. But my baby is my nonprofit called Pay It Forward the Movement, which we have done some amazing things this year. We got one more initiative that we're doing. And if you feel led to drop some dollars on us, please do. We do not want to go in the next year in the red. We want to stay in the black. We got one more initiative that we're doing. We're actually sponsoring 4 families for Christmas. This is actually something that I first started on my own in 2015, and now built it into an organization where we do stuff all year long, sporadically, to give back to undervalued professionals and undervalued families. And so we do both things. In the middle of the year, we did something for teachers, social workers, we did something for police officers. We did something because we just want to appreciate everyone. And so we call it the Pay It Forward the Movement. And so we got one initiative left. It's for Christmas. It is to help 4 families for Christmas. We've reached out to them. We did our consultations, and now we're ready to go and buy. And so we do have some money, but if you want to give to that, please check it out on IG. You can hit that link in my bio. Everything is right there. And so we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening to that spiel. Oh, the website, you can check my website out. That's all in the IG too. Just go to IG. It has everything over there.
Listen, I just wanted to add to what he said. I was in one of the clubhouse rooms that he led. I think it was one of the morning prayers. And so I will say he is good ground, y'all. He's not taking no money. He's using that for good, because I sold into it. And let me tell you, I was not looking or expecting for anything to happen for me. I just wanted to be a blessing. And I was always blessed coming into your room for prayer. And my mother was in ICU, I think in February. And so I worked from home then. And so I made my mission to get up every morning to get on prayer.
We did 10K in money and services while I did do rooms. I don't do rooms anymore, y'all, so don't look for me. Because Clubhouse is wearing me out. There's a lot going on. So but I go live on IG a lot. But we did 10K, man, giving to single mothers, single fathers, That was not just in money, that was in money and services. And I'm grateful that people trusted it. People back chat me all the time. Well, we miss you, but I think that was my season, my reason, and then God always pushes us into something great. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate it because I'm a heathen and I don't know how I learned how to pray. So pray for me. Yeah.
Hey, listen, you're welcome. Listen, we all a work in progress. I'm grateful again. You all, thank you all again so much for being on. Anyone have any final words before I let us go?
I just want to say, we appreciate y'all. I appreciate the opportunity as always, sis. Again, to get on here and always to network. Again, to talk about building each other up and support each other, man, that's real. That's what it's about. So, someone talked about the curse a little bit earlier. This is what we're doing right now with this. We're breaking that curse, right? We building relationships, we networking, we getting to know each other. And that's what it's about, y'all. So again, my name is Desi Johnson. This is my wife, obviously Victoria. We own the only private Black-owned corporate wellness firm based in Detroit. So again, going back to that, not only do we have relationships and contracts with like global companies like Under Armour, Fabletics, different things like that. We work with cities. We actually work with, all types of organizations. And again, health is wealth. Health is very, very important, and that's something that's missing in our community. We all know that. We all know about the chronic diseases and different things that we deal with and we go through, because again, there's a big part of our culture where we're not necessarily getting that type of education. So again, and we're huge on education, we're huge on nutrition, we're huge on wellness, we're huge on lifestyle. So please make sure you guys are following Des to Fit and Coach Mommy on Instagram as well. Reach out to us, and we'll love to help you in regards to making health as the top of your priorities, which would make you soar and excel in everything that you do.
He means sore like high,
High.
not sore muscles.
Yeah, not sore muscles.
Not sore.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that.
So we appreciate y'all for real though. Thanks for letting me do that little spiel. But sis, we always got your back. And it's been a pleasure meeting y'all, man. Keep doing what y'all do, man. Respect.
Yes. Thank you again for coming on tonight. Listen, y'all continue to follow us on Instagram. Follow me on YouTube. There are some things coming up. I'll be making some announcements towards the end of this year, what's going on in 2022. Again, I'm excited. We will definitely have this conversation again next year. So you guys, again, just keep watching my page for updates on that. And I'll talk to you all in my next video. Y'all have a safe weekend. Be blessed. I'll talk to y'all soon. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. See y'all.
Good night, y'all.
Have a good night, everyone.
Tomorrow's my birthday. Happy birthday. Who's that?
Happy
birthday is it?
Who's that?
Latrice.
It is
Happy birthday to you.
Well,
Happy birthday to you. What do you mean? Happy birthday. Where y'all at? Happy birthday.
Hey, happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday.
Okay, y'all.
Ain't gonna announce your birthday and not get sang to. What is that?
Thank you so much. All right, y'all.
Okay. Now
Good night, y'all.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Hey, C, don't forget to end the live. You still up.
All right, I'm about to do it now.